Giga Eyew has steel. Yes, we are calling it that. That is the preferred nomenclature we have decided. If you have a problem, you can leave that in the comments. I welcome those as well. We're going to talk about the new developments. Yeah, steel is there, loading docks are in, and there's some big water barrels. What are those for? Zangler doesn't know, and neither do I, so maybe you can help us out with that. Let's get into it. I'm joined by Mark from the Tesla Life, where he's been living it large and in charge, along with Patrick and Casey, and it's great to have him back. Everybody, I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. So, Mark, Giga Eyew is really catching on for reasons perhaps beyond my understanding. Our little joke has gotten out of control.
It's a great inside joke.
It's a great one, you guys. And poor Zangler. Yeah, some jokers have decided to call it that. Yes, that's me, my friend. That's me and Mark. We love it. I didn't mean for it to catch on. I just thought it was funny. But that's how a lot of jokes go, is you never can predict which ones will have legs.
Like the spiders.
Like the spiders.
Speaking of legs.
So many legs, Mark. So many. I'm confident we will. If I remember, you may have to remind me. We'll have to do a Control F to see how many spiders there are in the comments. So what we're looking at here, and again, I do not play these videos, and I do not make these videos immediately when they come out, because I want you to go to Zangler's channel. I have permission to use them. I choose to just show slides instead and just kind of discuss high-level overview. All the loading docks are in. That's great. That is necessary. Now we just got to get this final graded.
Zoom out just slightly. The previous picture. What do those windows remind you of?
Well, obviously, I would say a city tram.
Yeah, it's so blatant. It's just with those little angles on both sides of it. It looks like a city tram. Absolutely.
Oh, okay. I was being a wise guy because, of course, it looks like two Oregon State semis back to back. You know, in Oregon State, they can have 3 trailers. They can.
Those are
triple trailers.
The super ones, the super long ones. It's like it's like they're trying to be Australia or something.
Yeah, road trains. It really is a road train, and it's not quite 3 trailers, but it's 3 segments. It's a short, like a long cab, and then 2 short trailers. It's wild seeing them on the road. Not as wild as watching when we lived near Boeing's Renton facility. At night, they would move fuselages from Everett to Renton, and you get to see a fuselage driving down the highway with a little dude sitting in a little car underneath the tail end of it so it doesn't swing too wide. They would always wave to the kids. It's fun. And I'm like, no, keep your foot on the gas. I don't think that's how it works. So these water barrels, barrels. We don't know if they're for water. I don't know what they are for. My first guess was runoff for water reclamation. But Nevada, up until just a few years ago, had a law banning the collection of rainwater. And when they amended it recently, it's only amended for single-family homes. So you and I can collect rainwater for our garden at our vacation home in Henderson, I've decided. But not for our duplex.
Interesting. These are rather large. Could they be chemical holders of some sort?
They could. They absolutely could. For what? So that's the question. If anyone has any thoughts on that, pretty please share them. Feel free to share them. And we've got 2 different videos to look at today. One of these came out a week ago. One came out a little less than a week ago. But here you can see how the stamping pit's coming along. You can see the foundations, the footings along the edge of the building. Those are in. These only have really 30 days to reach ideal minimum hardness. They could go vertical at any time because they've been in by the time equipment isn't there to start going vertical. So by the time they would start going vertical, they would be sufficiently cured to handle the amount of weight that's applied to them. And we can see that they are backfilling around the stamping equipment. When we get into the questions, we've got some reruns of questions to address. Interestingly, we now see that they are filling in the side of this, which is interesting. This outside wall along I guess that would be the east side, I think. East, yeah, I think so. Had not been there. It was just a separate, detached kind of thing. That wall is up. The backfill begins.
Yeah, so the forms are making their way out to the actual stamping pit, which is going to become a wall itself, really, to close in the building.
Yes, I think you can see the rebar running around the perimeter of it. All of this will become, yeah, the outside edge of that box. That is the isolation foundation for the big heavy stamping equipment.
Yeah.
Here you get a better shot of it being filled in. Thank you for pointing out that those are not fences, but actually just tire tracks, you know,
One of
wheel
those
tracks.
big steel rollers with the
Yeah, yeah.
divots that it makes.
Yeah. Knobby steel. And here you can see a better shot of the footings that have not only been poured, but backfilled as well. So that will allow them to go vertical. In the second video in this part, Zangler does explain that they will once again be using the, not cranes for the actual building, but the lifting, I forget the term right now, but he uses it
Oh
incorrectly.
yes, the all-in-one crane on wheels
Yeah.
to put up segments of the roof
Yeah.
all in one swoop.
It's like a forklift. And then you've
Yeah.
got, your big natural gas or propane tanks. I assume natural gas, but might be propane. I don't know. And of course, around it would be, I believe these are called and propane accessories. Yeah. My buddy Hank told me about that. He's a big advocate.
Yes, you did.
Uh-huh.
Hank from Texas.
Yeah. Little town. Yeah. In, yeah. You know the guy. I guess
I
you've
know
met
the
him.
guy.
Yeah. This is called, according to Zangler, the BFD, which stands, of course, for Big Falcon Door. I've decided he calls it friendly. But it could also be a big fairing door because a semi with fairings would have to be capable of driving through it. So I think we can call it a big fairing door. So you think that's a clue is it a clue that it looks like a city tram?
I don't think it is a clue because I don't think Tesla's going to be making city trams anytime in the future.
I agree. So the second video is, we will go even more quickly through it. You can just see more backfilling underway. You get a better shot from this side with the sun a little different of what's going on there. We've got this material over the top of the casting pit. Interesting.
Yeah, weatherproofing or waterproofing, I would imagine.
I think it might be because the ground doesn't look as dry. There may have been some rain. And then you've got the pumping truck pouring more concrete, which is important. Still got our 5 water tanks there, or tanks, liquid tanks, I suppose. Yeah, everything's looking good. What are the questions that all y'alls have? Filling it in, you can just see they just go bit by bit. Keep it ideally damp. Someone in the comments did say that there is a correct amount of dampness. Go too much, it's a problem. Too little, it's a problem. And here we can see the steel is arriving. So that's it, man. That's how they're gonna.
It's going to be going vertical soon.
That's how you build a building. I don't think there's anything else critical here. He's trying to get in safety glasses, safety shoes, hard hat, reflective vest. So similar to a lot of people's dating requirements. Anyway, so that's the important part. The footing's moving along, the backfill going nice, and the steel. And if you're worried that I was not going to deliver, that's what I said you were getting at the beginning. Welcome to your doom. Oh, no, that's a video game I'm thinking of. And it means it's time to answer questions. And don't forget to like the video. It's free. I don't charge for it yet. I will think about it. Regarding Mark's comments about waiting for these trucks to get past the testing phase, I understood that Tesla held off on constructing due to each semi using as many as 5, maybe 10 cars worth of batteries. Once the battery supply chain eased, I suspected that they started to manufacture. This time extension allowed them to improve the trucks based on the pilot trucks that were in service.
True. They're certainly taking the input of the few customers that have these trucks in operation today. But as we've said previous times, Tesla doesn't stop innovating. They may, stop putting innovation into a certain vehicle at a certain time, but they're still compounding these improvements as time goes along. So you can bet that the second, third, fourth, fifth generation of innovation is happening and will continue to happen. And Tesla may hold things back a little bit, knowing what's coming down the pipeline in those innovation changes.
We saw a video this week from Sandy Monroe where he got to talk to Lars and Wes. I don't think it's iWes. I think it's just regular Wes Moravy, where he got to ask questions, the questions we all had. And one of them was, seriously, what's the battery size?
We want to make sure that our cars last, the robotaxi can last the full usage of a day without having to recharge too much. So we got a lot of models going around, trying to figure out like how, like a typical robotaxi would go, pick up someone, go to the next job, whatever. And we think that we can do that with like quite a small battery pack. It's under 50 kilowatt hours and still have over close to 300 miles of real world range.
And he said, maybe 50 kilowatt hours and 50 and we're like, 50 kilowatts, really? 50 kilowatt hour battery pack. That's bigger than we expected. That's going to be a long range vehicle. And he goes, yeah, we want it to be capable of at best 300 miles in a day. And I was like, ooh, that's a lot. That's way bigger than what we heard and bigger than we were told it would have at the announcement, which means there are design changes still ongoing. And now we have gotten confirmation that the Cybercab will have front and rear castings because the prototypes did not. Or I tried to get them to confirm whether they did or did not, and they were sufficiently squirrely that I concluded they did not. I did pretty good work on that. Maybe they're laying extra power cables for a new Megapack site they plan to install. Well, they're
from one of the photos we showed previously.
Well, last week we showed that they're putting in a whole second set of power cables, but there
redundancy. We were thinking
redundancy. There's already going to be a Megapack site next door at Giga Nevada. I don't think it would be helpful to have a second one that close, but it's possible. If you wanted, I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. That is a very good question. I don't see an advantage to having them in two different places, but I also don't see a disadvantage in terms of installation. It should be relatively easy either way.
Cost would be the only disadvantage.
Why would it cost? Possibly, but maybe it's cheaper to have them separate.
True.
Yeah. So insufficient data. John, thank you for that question. John Stubbs, appreciate it. When you can stump us, you're doing pretty good. I might have a solution for the pesky sun problem. What if we had banks of big batteries that fit inside a shipping container to release power after the sun goes down? Question is, who the heck makes such a thing?
I wonder who makes that.
It's tough. It is one of life's great mysteries. You're getting a heart for that one, Ross. Yes, Tesla Megapacks are a thing. I don't know about 25% funnier, but you can do 25% more dad jokes without a problem. Now we're talking, of course, about the looming tariff on Mark's Canadian appearances being exported here to the US. It is something we're very worried about.
Yes, it is worrisome.
Yes.
And especially 25% more dad jokes. That's a worrisome factor too.
Well, I didn't used to make any, but it became more clear as I became a parent. Great video.
Comment your dad joke in the comments below, people.
Oh dear. What I heard what Mark said, but what I think the viewers heard is bury this channel in dad jokes in the comments below. Mm-hmm. A great video about the Semi would be an accountant for a large truck operation comparing the cost of buying the Semi versus diesel. Now, we've tried to do this math before, but we don't know what the trucks cost. And that makes the whole thing. I mean, we could put in a range, 250 to 500,000. We don't know. And yes, 500,000 is very high, but that's what Mack Truck sells their garbage trucks for, their electric garbage trucks. So it's not prohibitively high. Sometimes it just makes sense. And we don't, and everyone's power costs different depending where they are. And many factories have access to even cheaper power at night. Is that when the number of variables to me is too great for my spreadsheet to account for, because you would find that it would work in 40 to 80% of cases, but definitely not in 20. And in some, it would pay off in a year or two. Thoughts on that?
Yeah, you're right. There's variables that we really don't know the answer for, and I would say that the number one variable is the cost of the vehicle. It's something that is not being published. They initially gave us a price of the vehicle when it first came out, and you could put down a deposit. But since then, they've been tight-lipped about the overall cost of this vehicle to the public.
The 150,000 we heard quoted in 2017, 2019, 2017
17, yeah.
is not happening. Or rather, it's definitely happening along with the new Roadster 2020.
There you go. Yeah.
Which, by the way, didn't happen. Here's a great one for you. Perhaps for the power could be perhaps redundancy from another substation. So it's not even different power. We might just be pulling it from two different areas rather than having to update the substations. That could be. They're going to need lots of power, true, to heat the molten metal unless they use gas. They use gas. They use gas. It's too many BTUs. They use gas. And I've seen people have to say, well, humans emit carbon. Maybe we should get rid of humans, right? We're not saying carbon emissions need to end. We're saying we need to stop increasing them. If anything, maybe decrease them a bit. Net zero is what we want, not gross zero. But, people love to be silly when their arguments are very weak. If semi-truck comes out and has full self-driving, won't the need for a driver be gone? And these trucks can run 24/7 minus a few hours of charging time. Is this not an inevitable revolution? I watch all the big Tesla channels and no one seems to be talking about this. Am I missing something?
Frank, you're not missing something. Frankie, this will come at some point. We've even seen it with other companies that are selling packages for autonomous driving with rigs on the highway. We've seen it coming. It is coming. It's just a matter of time.
So I would argue that the thing you're missing is we've talked about it. Haven't we?
I'm sure we have.
I'm positive. I know I've talked about it 3-4 times. I can't expect you to watch every video I've made, but do me a favor, pause this video and go watch every video I've ever made. And I'll see you in about 3 weeks because it's a lot. No, it is absolutely true. I've seen people say, well, semis need to, not go 55, 60 miles an hour for maximum efficiency. They need to go 75, 80 miles an hour, as is legal for them to do in some places. Not always advised, but legal for them to do. And I say, why? Why? An autonomous electric semi at 50 miles an hour will cross the country quicker, including charging stops, than a human-operated gas or diesel-powered big rig taking the legally required brakes. Because you have to take legally required brakes, and an autonomous one doesn't. Even at 50, it'll cross the whole country in 2 days. No problem. So this is absolutely coming. This is absolutely going to be a thing. Thank you for the question, Frankie. Yes, Frankie. Making sure I'm not getting overly personal unless it's the correct name. I'm not trying to. Is there a reason it's moving so slowly? Still problems with 4680? How many years have we been waiting for 4680? So much for Tesla attracting the top talent.
That's a bit disingenuous, Doug. We've got a situation here where this is brand new technology. It's not surprising that Tesla touted it at Battery Day about how wonderful all these innovations would be for the battery pack. But Tesla's timeline for actually making them all come true typically is a lot longer than what they say up front. because you're breaking into new territory, you're breaking into new processes, you're breaking into things that they don't know how to do from the outset. They have an idea, but they haven't tried them. So now it's a bunch of trial and error to get these things up and running and efficient as they're supposed to be in order to make the numbers that they need.
And the Semi's never been made with 4680s. It could be in the future. It is cell agnostic, but right now it uses 2170s. And Tesla does attract top talent. Making batteries is really, really hard. Panasonic, LG, and others believe that they would have their 4680s commercialized a year and a half ago, and not one of them is on the market yet. But if you'd like a really cheap Chinese knockoff, those are available. I've never seen them in use, but I've met with companies that make them at the North America Battery Show, which I'm out there doing the work, you guys. I'm out there doing the work, and I appreciate you guys making it possible. Not long enough video, guys, but are they ever for your fans? I don't understand, Jamie, but thank you. And of course, I like this one. John here saying some questions are just dumb and not worthy of your valuable insights. They wouldn't even need, they wouldn't see the need even if a Semi rear-ended them. Again, you know, I've said it before, I'll say it again. There are no stupid questions allowed, but some people will post them anyway. And no, I may have said that wrong. You guys know what I mean. There is one that I wanted to address. Okay. Fellow theater nerd. Great. Any thoughts on a chassis cab version that can be customized?
Oh my goodness. Can someone go back and look at a few videos just before this on this topic?
So yes, we are confident that will come. It is not coming yet. That's the short answer. Q&A hole. Yes, this is where you've got questions and you want answers. The Q&A, we're going to cover all of them in their entirety. The whole situation here in the Q&A hole. We're going to wipe up all those answers for you.
Oh my gosh.
Uh-huh. I don't know how your vid came into my feed. I'm a dumb blue collar contractor, but you two made me laugh a bunch. Maybe I'm not as dumb as I think. Therefore I am.
Wow.
Correct.
Thanks, Heath.
Yeah. Are these trucks mainly for distributing potato chips on smallish routes?
No, they're not.
No. They also haul Pepsi, which is
one of the
heavy.
heaviest cargoes you can have.
Yeah. How many Model 3s can you build with the batteries from one Semi or Megapack? So a Semi is about 800 kilowatt hours. So about 10. And a Megapack would be 2.5, 3 times that. So 20, 25. Yeah. Do you think they're going to build the Robovan here? Too soon to say.
It's a possibility.
Yeah. You would think, because it has the same battery pack. It doesn't. The battery pack is very bulky and rectangular. And I assume the battery pack in the Robovan would either be at the front and back where where there's some kind of space for it, but really under the floor is where I would assume it goes.
Yeah.
They could put Optimus to plug in the truck during a long haul. Yeah. I think it'd make more sense to have one Optimus at a place where there's going to be 50 trucks a day. But yeah. So there we go. I mean, there were, I apologize, Jester Cat, for not getting more time for this, but the question is again, I didn't like last week's question. Where's the battery supply? Where will all the extra batteries come from? Where are the chargers? They don't exist. They do. They will exist in the places where they're needed. That's just the answer. I don't know. Those are, I feel like we've done our best to answer those. Do you have any additional thoughts?
Yeah, this is over.
Mark's like, I'm starving. Let me get my dinner. But that's the problem when you work here in the company factory town.
That's right. They know where you live. Yeah.
Well, and if you don't think it's true, look at how many YouTubers have the exact same background when they use StreamYard. It's like, that house must be huge. No, we all just store neatly in basement cubbies. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. All right, guys, what did we miss? What did we misunderstand? Head on over to the Tesla Life, see what Mark, Patrick, and Casey are up to. I'm sure it's trouble.
It sure is no good. Trouble. Yes.
Yeah. And if you have questions or comments, leave them. I do appreciate you guys for all the support you give me. It means a lot. Mark and I will both be at the Michigan Summer Meetup in June. Neither of us want to be there. They just made us. We're conscripted. It's a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun last year.
We certainly did.
Yeah, and I hope you're going to have more opportunity to hang out this time. I know you were in and out pretty quick last year, so maybe we'll fix that. But in the meantime, we'll see what happens. Guys, leave a comment, like, subscribe, do all the things you got to do. Throw a nickel in the tip jar. It's free. It's not free. And everybody else, stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you, clever robots on the flippity flop.